Today is Thursday, March 21st. It's approximately 3:30-ish. Thursday afternoon. Somewhat forcing this recording because I'm definitely feeling just want to note a few things about the energy in my world as of today's date, this moment. Probably there's more so one person than anybody else that I feel like I'm speaking to directly in this, because a lot of the references I'm going to make, there's quite literally only two individuals that even remotely have an awareness of the main things sort of going on in my world right now. So I'm speaking to one of those people directly in this communication. I'm working to be simultaneously the one energy and kind of a conduit for that, but it's also very much sort of an update of the character of Alyson's life. So it's a weird, hence why I think I feel awkward. But I also believe I'm intended to jump into some aspect of sharing in this way, which is to let go a little bit and risk appearing however it may appear to people, which can very much include a little out there. But it's the more authentic expression of who and where I am and the way that I want to be out in the world. So I have to just start being it. And in my home, I'm able to be that energy all the time. I don't worry. The only living energies I have to take into consideration are the cats. And they do get a little weirded out, as you can just see. But other than that, I am my full expression of me in the safety sort of and protection of my own home, which is why I've fought for it as hard as I have. And now it's about re-engaging out in the world, being a little bit wiser and using a little bit more discernment than I did the first time around, which more or less began 6 years ago. Most notably, I'm trying to identify the energies that are able and willing to reflect back to me sort of the frequency that I'm at, the version of myself at that higher frequency of love, abundance, cooperation, versus what I feel and perceive the lower frequencies of fear, lack, and competition. And right now that list is really, really, really small. Certainly in this more complete way. And this gentleman to whom I'm speaking, I think it remains to be seen how special this friendship is to me and what it will be in terms of allowing a blossoming, a witness beyond just myself, which I think in our human form, that's part of what we intended. So he knows I fly out tomorrow. It's my first flying trip of 2019. So that's why I felt like I had to record, even though I am sort of forcing it. Because I have a lot of nervous anxiety this week. Something really pretty big and pretty substantial happened at the farm on Tuesday that has rocked my world there again. Just making it clear that things either have to shift there for me very in the next couple of months, or I need to cut loose. And that has been made clear doing no small way to processing what took place on Tuesday. So that's very much prevalent in me right now. Starting to travel. Now, granted, I don't fly again until June, and then it's game on, right? Then it's a lot of flying for the second half of the year. But the first half of the year, this is the only flight, right? Yeah, until June, until early June, end of May, I leave for Connecticut. So the travel season now, so far in 2019, my races have taken me to Jacksonville, Safety Harbor, which is by Clearwater, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, Orlando, Florida, and then tomorrow, New Orleans for the weekend. I've got a pretty busy 5 weeks ahead of me, and my first Ironman gig is next weekend. So I'll be in the throes of that starting a week from today. So there's a lot that's gonna happen. And let's not forget, I'm on day 18 of the Master Cleanse, more or less. I've had quite a bit of honey consumed in tea in the morning and the evening, and sometimes just spoonfuls of honey. And the Master Cleanse, of course, is lemon juice, water, cayenne pepper, and organic grade B maple syrup. So today I integrated coconut water, and tomorrow begins orange juice, and then that starts a 2.5 week period of just juices. So I'm about to enter, transitioning out of phase 1 of a very full of intent, fasting, coming off of a fast for more permanent change in my connection with my body, my vessel, my food, and just the machine that my body is. So I'm transitioning into phase 2 of what intends to be primarily, depends on how you can identify, 4 or 5 phases. Never have I been fasting in any way when working an event. So that is a new dimension. Given that I haven't had anything solid to eat since March 3rd, I've lost probably a few pounds. So right now I'm feeling anxious because I do not want to react at all, or be attached to, or have any, I want to be in balance with whatever reaction may or may not come from my friends in this local race world that I'm about to enter tomorrow morning. To the best of my knowledge, none of them know that I've been fasting. So I just need to be kind of prepared, for some sort of reaction. But what I'm intending and asking for guidance for is to not be affected one way or another by anybody's reaction or non-reaction to the fact that I can only drink orange juice this weekend in New Orleans. Because, like I said, I have been on the Master Cleanse for 18 days. If I screw that up, my stomach, I will pay the price. And I definitely don't want to be having an intense stomach ache when sharing a room in a hotel room on the road for work. So that's some pretty good incentive that's been built in here. It shouldn't be hard, but the other night when my aunt and uncle were in town, my brother and I went to Tijuana Flats with them, and I'm not gonna lie, that was the first time in over 2 weeks where I was like, oh my God. I mean, Tijuana Flats is one of my favorites. So that was a challenging meal. So this is gonna be really interesting, but one of the things I have to initiate and align for myself, my own well-being this year, when I travel, I need to not be so jolted out of what my normal day-to-day life is when I'm here in Sarasota. And that means I exercise when I'm here, I eat well when I'm here, I don't eat out. I certainly haven't been overeating in a long time, for the most part. And when I go on the road, you know, I really have struggled with those things, and then that spirals me in a direction I don't want to be going. And now more than ever, my time when I'm home, I've got to be efficient and productive as I try to launch my world and get my first book done and this big project to launch. So I need to be able to come back and flow right into those higher frequencies and not be literally or metaphorically weighed down by my traveling experience. So I know that's part of why I'm sharing, you know, because the local stuff, that's all been driving. Jacksonville, Savannah, even Savannah was driving. That's all been driving, and that's a different kind of travel experience than when you have to, you know, do the airport thing and the plane thing and switching planes and layovers. I have a direct flight tomorrow, but, you know, in the Ironman world, I always have layovers because I choose to leave from Sarasota versus Tampa, which means there's very few direct flights from Sarasota. In fact, I haven't had a single direct flight yet. So these are parts of the very real things. My kiddies, I have 2 senior kiddies. One is about to turn 10, and the older one just turned, we think, 14 or 15. The older one's got diabetes, and he's coming off insulin, you know, like, and for a diabetic cat, stability and routine is important, which has been hilarious irony of this situation that I had him when we learned of him becoming diabetic, and my life is definitely more stable now than it was when I first got him, but still the nature of my traveling makes it a dynamic place. And these little kiddies, you know, traveling, the guilt, I have guilt, and that's a useless energy, but I'm not being honest or real if I just don't put it out there that I still really, if I didn't have the cats, I think the traveling, especially now that the significant other is done, would be, I really don't think it would be near the problem that it feels. But I feel like I'm doing a disservice to these animals. But again, the nature of my even obtaining them was such that I literally saved them. Like, it was an impulsive decision that I didn't really go looking for. It was in an effort to help a neighbor going through some very severe health things and not knowing if she was even going to live. So these were her cats, and I don't regret the decision, but I didn't go looking to make it either, but I know it was the right thing to do. And so there's a lot of inner layers of these cats in me and what that really means. All to say, I have to release that when I travel. I can't let that affect being fully present when I'm on these road trips, because they're a gift in and of themselves, and I really hope that they're declining in the future soon, because that would mean that my world of work is taking off, and that is what my heart desires most right now. So I have no idea if the camera's even still recording. I just wanted to capture a few things. So end of the fast, or transitioning from just Master Cleanse and honey to coconut water and orange juice the next few days, and then integrating some green juices and more fruit juices for the next 2 weeks after that. And that's phase 2 of this fasting transition, using the fast as an impetus, as an igniter for very lasting intentions that I've had for like a decade, seriously, to make these changes in my dietary and just my relationship of listening to my body and giving it what it needs to make it the most efficient vessel it can be. The thing at the farm, which I don't want to get into specifics, but again, not so minor, and being there yesterday with the reverb of that energy was the most uncomfortable thing, which is why I'm really struggling today. I'm supposed to be there. I have to get there to do about an hour of work, and I'm really fighting it, and that's an interesting thing going on, and I just need to suck it up and go. And I wanted to work all day. I wanted to work all day yesterday too, but because of what happened on Tuesday, it's like I'm being repelled. You know, like I just do not want, and I don't know if it's because I feel like I'm in a precarious place getting ready to go to New Orleans and sort of put myself out there a little bit in a more expanded way. So anyway, the traveling begins, and I will likely report back Sunday evening when I get back from this first road trip of 2019 race season. Okay, thanks for watching. And TH, your email, it's a bit intense for me because you hit the nail on the head almost more than I could do for myself, which is really rare when somebody feels me to that depth. And I think I'm still reeling a bit from reading that a few hours ago when you sent it, because I continue to be very grateful for your presence in my world right now, especially given that I saw our friend today, because that was also, I forgot to even mention that I saw him. Oh, and the mortgage officially went to the underwriter today, and I got that email. So, like, yeah, there's some really big things going on, and that could all explain why I'm really excited but anxious and nervous, and I'm ready to. And thank you for being there to support me at this really powerfully blossoming time.